Sadasivasamaarambam Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Krishna Paramatma is answering the seventh question. He is dealing with Ishvara Smaranam at the time of death. The significance of remembering God at the time of death. As a part of this topic, Paramatma is dealing with Saguna Ishvara Upasanam. Saguna Ishvara Upasana means meditating upon Ishvara with attributes. And here, Upasaka that is kept in mind is Nishkama Upasaka. An Upasaka who has only spiritual goal, who does not have any materialistic desires. Or, in other words, he has got enough Vairagyam. This Nishkama Upasaka can choose two different paths. One, he can switch over. By doing this upasana, he can cleanse his antakarnas and get himself ready for Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam, Ishvara Vicharana, that inquiry into Ishvara Tattvam. Then he has to approach a guru and learn the self-knowledge or the Brahma Vidya from that Srotriya Brahmanishta for a long time, consistently for a long time. And he has to undergo Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. This is the course. Supposing by some reason, maybe he is not ready to take up Nirguna Ishvara. His mind is not ready. He cannot assimilate, he cannot accommodate Nirguna Ishvara. So in that case, Krishna Paramatma is very compassionate. He dealt the rest of the chapters for Nirguna Ishvara Vicharana, only one chapter for those who cannot make up, who cannot progress towards the Nirguna Ishvara Tattvam. So for such people, Paramatma is giving another margam. That is, they can continue throughout their life. They can continue throughout their life with Saguna Ishvara Dhyana. So, at the end, supposing they remember God of their choice, they can reach that loka of that God. So, Ishvara Prapti is the top priority for Nishkama Bhakta, Nishkama Upasaka. Therefore, at the time of death also he remembers. Because 24/7 he is in the remembrance of God only. There is no other priority for him but for God. God is the only priority for him. So, he leaves his physical body and the subtle body goes to the Brahmaloka. Subtle body goes to Brahmaloka. And in Brahmaloka, he has to take up Nirguna Ishvara Vichara. There is no escape from Vedanta. You have to definitely come to Vedanta without escape. So Nirguna Ishvara Vichara, nobody can escape. Because that is the ultimate route to liberation. And in Brahmaloka, he is supposed to get Jnanam. And as a result of that Jnanam, he attains liberation, which is called Krama Mukti. And it is this Krama Mukti Krishna Paramatma is dealing throughout the 8th chapter. Therefore, you should remember, we should understand that the 8th chapter is not Nirguna Ishvara Vicharanam. It is not Tattva Vicharana. Tattva Vicharana is kept aside for the time being. So naturally, the question comes, how can a person remember Lord at the time of death? Prana prayana samaye kafavata pittaihi kantavarodhana vidau smaranam kutasti. So we have all kinds of ailments and a lot of pain. Then at that time, how can we remember God? So this Paramatma has already given. He said that if you keep Paramatma in your subconscious mind, whatever the local work you are entertaining, that Paramatma's thinking runs at the background. So a Nishkama Bhakta can never forget Ishvara. He can easily remember Ishvara at the time of death. So we discussed this with some examples of train journey and the Tambura Sruti, if you recall. So like that, you can keep Paramatma in the subconscious mind. With the conscious mind, you will be taking up the mundane things. So, when a person remembers the Lord, he will attain Krama Mukti. Up to this, we have seen in the previous class. This is all Krama Mukti topic. So, we will proceed to Sloka number 9. Kavim Purana Manusasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaredhyah Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. Kavim Puranam Anusasitaram Anoho Aniyamsam Anusmaretyah Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. Anusmaret. Anusmaret means one who thinks of Lord at the time of death. Kavi means not the one who writes poetry. Kavi is Krantidarsi, who is omniscient, Sarvajnaha. Puranam. Puranam means very old, ancient, or ageless. Anadi. Anusasitaram, the ruler of all jivas. He gives karma phala to all the living beings according to their karmas. Aniyamsam anoho, subtler than the subtlest thing. Dhataram sarvasya, the sustainer of all. He is the Srishtikarta, he is the Sthitikarta. Achintya Rupam, very difficult to describe, difficult to comprehend. Aditya Varnam, very brilliant, effulgent like sun. Parastat Tamaha, beyond the ignorance. He is beyond all ajnanam. One who thinks of Lord at the time of death attains the Lord, who is omniscient, the ruler of all, subtler than the subtlest things, the sustainer of all, and incomprehensible, effulgent like sun, beyond ignorance. So here, Paramatma is talking about the attributes of Lord, who is remembered by the Nishkama Upasaka at the time of death. The Ishvara Gunaha, Ishvara Kalyana Visesha. What are the attributes that are mentioned here? Each word is an attribute of the Lord. Kavim Puranam. Kavim Puranam Anusasitaram Anoho Aniyam Sarvasya Dataram Atintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat Vartamanaha. Attributes are mentioned here. From this is very clear that Nishkama Upasaka must be in touch with Shastra. Otherwise, he cannot describe Ishvara. Kavihi means Sarvajnaha, omniscient, the all-illuminating principle. Because Lord is seen as the total mind, so Kavi is the Samashti Manaha, omniscient. Puranam. Puranam means most ancient one. One who is never created, beginningless. Anadi, you can say. The next one is Anusasitaram. One who gives karma phala to all jivas, according to the law of karma. Then Anoho Aniyamsam. He is subtler than the subtlest. He is beyond Sabda, beyond Sparsa, beyond Rupa, Rasa and all that. So, he is beyond Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas. So, it is very difficult to understand his nature. So, Anoho Aniyansam. Like in Kathopanishad, it is mentioned that, studying Brahman is like, walking on a razor's blade. Then Sarvasya Dhataram, one who is a substratum, one who is the Adhishtanam for the entire creation, one who sustains the entire creation. Because of this Atma, only this entire Jagat is sustained. He is lending his existence to Jagat. Jagat is not a vastu by itself. It's not an object by itself. Jagat is only Namam and Rupam for Bhagavan. It is only an attribute for Bhagavan. That attribute also a Midya attribute for Bhagavan. So, Jagat cannot exist without God. It is like a shadow. If only a person is there, the shadow is formed. Jagat is like that. So, Sarvasya Dhataram, he is the sustainer of this entire world. Sada Somya Idamagre Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. So, in Chandogya Upanishad, Bhagavan is presented as the existence absolute. So, he is the very existence before Srishti. That alone was there. So, Bhagavan is Sarvasya Dhataram. Achintya Rupam, one who is incompressible, one who cannot be understood, one who cannot be thought of by thinking process, one who cannot be objectified by mind or by reason. Why God cannot be objectified? God is the very subject. Because God is the very subject, he cannot be objectified. Who objectifies everything? God is the very subject. He is never the object. Suryo yadha sarva lokasya chakshuhu na lipyate chakshushair bahya doshaihi ekastada sarva bhutantaratma na lipyate loka dukkhe na bahya. Just as one sun illumines the entire world, God is one consciousness because of which we are conscious of everything else. Therefore, Aditya Varnam is Swayam Prakasa Chaitanya Swarupam, one who is all illumining consciousness. Tamasah Parastat, one who is unaffected even by darkness. There is a difference between sunlight and Atma Jyotihi. What is the difference? Sunlight cannot illumine the darkness, whereas Atma Jyoti can illumine the darkness. Atma Jyoti can tell you there is a darkness. Swami Chinmayananda gives a beautiful story. It seems somebody told sun god, there is a beautiful girl. The name of the girl is Nisiratri. You can marry her. She is on the other side of the globe. It is a story. Therefore, sun god thought, okay, somehow I will meet her and marry her. So he goes to the other side of the globe. Then wherever he goes, the darkness vanishes. The brilliance appears. The brilliance comes. When the day breaks, the night goes away. So like that, he kept on searching and searching and searching. That's how we get day and night. Sun cannot see darkness because the moment sun is there, darkness will not be there. But Atma Jyoti can reveal the darkness. There is a darkness, there is light. Like that, Atma Jyoti can tell you the darkness as well as the light. So that is the greatness of Atma Jyoti. Nishkama Upasaka meditates Anusmaret Yaha. When he meditates 24/7, he repeatedly remembers God, not only throughout the life, but at the time of death also. So, whoever remembers this God, whoever meditates this God, such Upasaka will reach the Loka of the God. This is about Krama Mukti. So we'll proceed to the 10th sloka. Sloka number 10. Prayana kale manasa chalena bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva bhruvor madhye pranabhavisya samyak satam param purushamupaiti divyam. Achalena manasa bhaktya yuktaha yoga balena cha eva bhruvoho madhye samyak pranam avesya yaha anusmaret saha tam paramam divyam purusham upaiti. Prayana kale, at the time of death, samyak avesya pranam, having brought the prana, bhruvoho madhye, between the eyebrows. He has to bring the prana between the eyebrows. How he can bring? That's a question. So Paramatma is giving the answer. Yoga balena eva, by the power of yoga, with an undistracted mind, with a focused mind, with a kind of one-pointed concentration. He has to bring forth the prana into the bhrumadhyam. Bhaktya cha yuktaha. Bhaktya cha yuktaha. Endowed with devotion. Saha upaiti. Tam divyam param purusham. So such person will reach God. At the time of death, having properly brought prana between the eyebrows by the power of yoga, with an undistracted mind endowed with devotion, one attains the divine Supreme Lord. Paramatma is talking about Nishkama Upasaka, remembering God at the time of death. So, what are the things that he practices? At the time of death, Prayana Kale, what he does? Bhruvoho madhye pranam aveshya. Pranam means the very life principle. Pancha pranas. He withdraws from the organs of the body and he has to bring prana to Hrudayam. From Hrudayam, he has to direct the prana through a special nadi called Sushumna Nadi. It is not mentioned here, but in other places it is mentioned. Satam cha eka cha hrudayasya nadyaha tasam murdhan abhi nisrutaika tayodhvamayan amrutatvameti vishyanya utkramane bhavanti. In Kathopanishad, the details are given. We have to remember all that here. The prana is brought into the Hrudayam and prana is directed through a special channel called Sushumna Nadi. And the channel is supposed to open at the top of the head. That opening is called Brahmarandram. Brahmarandram means the passage to Brahmaloka. So like a rocket which is forcefully released as a trajectory on a particular course. Similarly, prana has to be released through that passage. From this Brahmarandra, there is a route which we will see, which is known as Suklagati. Through that, the jivas travel and the Suklagati is supposed to take him to Brahmaloka. For all these things, he has to prepare. Therefore, pranam aveshya bhruvoho madhye. He has to bring the prana to a place between eyebrows, which represents Sushumna Nadi. Because it is supposed to travel through the... For all these things, he has to prepare. Therefore, pranam aveshya bhruvoho madhye. He has to bring the prana to a place between the eyebrows, which represents Sushumna Nadi. Because it is supposed to travel through the middle of the head and directly behind the Bhrudesha. Now, The question is, how can I withdraw the prana? How can I have so much of control over prana to withdraw it and bring it to the heart and so on, to channelize into Sushumna Nadi? All this, one should have an absolute control on prana. How can this Upasaka get this kind of control? So it is suggested that a Upasaka must be a yogi, a great yogi. He must have practiced Ashtanga Yoga. So through Ashtanga Yoga, he has got absolute control on his prana. And he knows, he predicts the death, and at the time of death, by Yoga Balam, he can bring the prana first to heart and then through Sushumna Nadi, he can force it to the Brahmarandra. So we'll proceed to the 11th sloka. Edaksharam veda vido vadanti visanti yadyatayo vetaragaha yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangraheda pravakshe. Vedavidaha yat aksharam vadanti vitaragaha yatayaha visanti brahmacharinaha yat icchantaha brahmacharyam charanti tat padam te sangrahena pravakshe. Sangrahena pravakshe. I shall briefly tell you. Te tadaksharam padam. So I will tell you about that imperishable tattvam. What is that tattvam? Et veda vido vadanti, which is often these Vedavits, they talk about this. Yat vitaragaha yatayaha vishanti. So, those who have got vairagyam, dispassionate sannyasis, they attain this knowledge. Yad icchantaha brahmacharyam charanti. Desiring this Akshara Jnanam, these sannyasis, these yatayaha, they lead a life of brahmacharya. They lead a life of brahmacharya means here we can understand brahmani charati. They are always in association with that Brahma Jnanam. I shall briefly declare to you that imperishable goal which the knower of Vedas speak about, which the dispassionate sannyasis attain, and desiring which they live a life of brahmacharya. Paramatma talks about the glory of the Lord. Edaksharam veda vido vadanti. So this destination that is God, all Veda Vidaha, all Vedic Pandits, the experts in the scriptural studies, they call it Aksharam. Aksharam means absolute reality, that which will not perish. In Mundakopanishad, Paramatma is described as Atha para yaya tadaksharam adigamyate. That para is nothing but aksharam. Yat yatayaha vishanti, which is accomplished by committed seekers. So literally the word yatayaha means sannyasinaha. Sannyasi represents the one who pursues the spiritual goal single-mindedly to the exclusion of every other thing. The word sannyasa means the priority is God. Everything else in this world is trivial for him. So, this sannyasi need not be an acrobate person. Manasika sannyasam, the internal renunciation is important. Yatayaha vishanti. So those who renounced all worldly desires, they attain God, they commit to the pursuit of Vedanta. Vitaragaha, who have turned away from the finite goals and fixed their priority to God. They know ultimate security, ultimate peace, ultimate happiness is my Swarupa. Erichanti brahmacharyam charanti. Desiring this very spiritual goal, the seekers follow the life of brahmacharyam. In this particular context, brahmacharya means committed to the study of scriptures. Gurukula Vasam. Brahmacharya means Brahmani Charati. Charya means dwelling in the scriptures. Brahma means Vedam. Because scriptures alone help us in discovering the reality. This is the nature of Brahma. Krishna Paramatma says about the nature of Ishvara, Aham sangrahena pravachye. I shall briefly define the nature of that Ishvara. And he promises to define the nature of Ishvara here. He gives the definition later in verses 20, 21 and 22. There he gives the definition of Ishvara. But here he promises to give the definition. Tat padam sangrahena pravachye. I shall define the God briefly. We might forget that Paramatma's promise, but Paramatma remembers it. He will give it later. Padam means goal, destination, lakshyam. Sarvadvarani sanyamya mano hrudi nirudhya cha modhna dhyayatmanaha pranam astito yoga dharanam. Sarvadvarani sanyamya manahacha hrudi nirudhya modhni atmanaha pranam adhaya yoga dharanam astitaha. Sanyamya, having restrained, sarvadvarani, all the sense organs. Nirudhya, having confined, manaha, the mind. Hrudi cha adaya, having confined the mind and having fixed atmanaha pranam murdhanam astitaha yoga dharanam. So having fixed the mind and once prana on the top of the head. So, having restrained all the sense organs, having confined the mind to the heart, and having fixed one's prana on the top of the head and the Brahmarandra, one should take the yogic concentration. Since it is very difficult to understand the formless God, the scriptures present a concrete symbol to visualize formless, which is called the language of Upasana, which is called in the language of Upasana an alambanam. An alambanam. Alambanam means a symbol. Symbol is of two types: Pratima alambanam, Pratika alambanam. Pratima alambanam is a symbol which has got a shape, most often the human shape, where the Lord is personified. If there is a Rama Vigraha, Rama's picture, one can concentrate the formless in that picture. Pratima alambanam. The Pratika alambanam is like you can take Omkara, which is Shabdam. It doesn't have any shape. Similarly, Krishna Pratima is the alambanam. We have so many dhyana slokas. Chirodanvat pradese, like that we have dhyana slokas. Megashyamam pita kausheyavasam srivatsankam kaustubodbhasitangam. Like that, we have different varnanas in the scriptures. So these are all, pratima alambanam. Whereas a flame is a pratika alambanam. Then we have the Omkara as a pratika alambanam. So we can take any alambanam and meditate on Nirguna, Nirakara Ishvara. Etadevaksharam Brahma, etadevaksharam paramam, etadevaksharam jnatva, yo idicchati tasya tat. Etadalambanam sreshtam, etadalambanam param, etadalambanam jnatva, brahmaloke mahiyate. Thus, Omkara is an alambanam. When you visualize God in Omkara, it is called Omkara Upasana. Omkara Upasana is a meditation in which I invoke Lord as Om. It is considered a very well-known Upasana. Therefore, almost in every Upanishad, the Omkara Upasana is talked about. Omkara Upasana is talked about in Taittiriya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Kathopanishad, like that. When Krishna Paramatma talks about Omkara Upanishad, remember it is only a sample that is given. It is not compulsory that everyone has to do Omkara Upasana. It is a choice. Instead of Omkara Upasana, one can choose Krishna, Rama, Saraswati, and so on. Any deity of his choice. You should have a concrete symbol for abstract God, for abstract Tattvam. And all this he should practice throughout the life and also at the time of death. That is said here. Sarva dvarani sanyamya maranakale. At the time of Maranam, he has to withdraw all the sense organs and all the sense organs are the gateways. So he has to close all the sense organs, withdraw all the sense organs. Then Mano Hrudi Nirudhya, bring the mind to the heart, in which the Lord is visualized. Shankara Bhagavad Pada, in a prayer known as Shiva Shankara Ashtakam, he prays like this. Ati Bhishana Katubhashana Yama Kinkara Patali Krutatadana Paripidana Maranagama Samaye Umaya Saha Mama Chetasi Yama Shasana Nivasan Shiva Shankara Harame Haraduritam. Can you understand? Ati Bhishana, at the time of death, these Yamakinkaras will come. They scold the Jiva. Yamadutas, they are not polite, they are very harsh. They do not inquire about my welfare. Their language is very harsh, threatening and criticizing me. They want to take me away. They scold me for I have wasted the time. Yamakinkara Patali, the battalion of Yama, Krutatadana Paripidana, Maranagata Samaye, making lot of noise. They come at the time when I am terribly frightened, when my will is so weak. At that time, what should you do? Now itself I am booking you. What you should do? Umaya Saha Mamachatasi Yamashasana Nivasan. You should come into my heart, not alone. Umaya Saha Mamachatasi Yamasasana. Oh, Lord is addressed beautifully. Lord is here called Yamashasana, which means he is Yama to Yama. So, Kala Kala. So you have to come and reside in my heart with Uma Devi. So, because he is a dictator to Yama, Yama will run away. The moment you are inside my heart, Yama will run away. This is the essence of this sloka. So like that, the sadhaka, the upasaka, must have absolute control on prana, mind and his organs, because he is also an Ashtanga yogi. So Mano Hrudi Niridhya, having withdrawn the mind and placed in the heart, Hrudi Atmanaha Pranam Adaya. So you have to bring the mind into heart and force pranas into Brahmarandra through Sushumna Nadi. So this is mentioned by Yoga Dharanam Astitaha. One should practice the Ashtanga Yoga by a continuous yogic concentration. A Upasaka can do this. This is how, a Kramamukti is described. Kramamukti is a Nishkama Upasaka should continue his Upasana. He doesn't come to Nirguna Iswara Vicharam. He doesn't come to the self-inquiry. He continues his Saguna Iswara Upasana. And also having absolute control on the body, mind, sense organs and prana by Ashtanga Yoga. So when he achieves all this, it is possible for him to remember God at the time of death, and then he can lift his prana through Brahmanandra and send prana to Brahmaloka, the Sushma Sariram, to send the prana along with the Sushma Sariram to Brahmaloka, where he has to take another body and attend classes of Chaturmukha Brahma, learn Vedanta there in Brahmaloka, get Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti in Brahmaloka. Having realized the self, because by the time he goes to the Brahmaloka, his upadhi will be so sattvic, he can easily grasp the Brahma Vidya. So he can pick up the knowledge quickly with a Karpura Buddhi. That too, the Guru is Sakshat Chaturmukha Brahma. So he can understand very easily, grasp Brahma Vidya and get liberated by Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. We will learn more about this Krama Mukti in the next class. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om